Take from New Jersey, it's the SNL Nerds, the show where two comics from New Jersey nerd out about Saturday Night Live. I'm your co-host, Darren Patterson.
And I'm your co-host, John Trumbull.
John Trumbull, how are you, sir, this holiday Eve?
I'm just doing peachy keen, Darren. How are you doing? Merry Christmas, by the way.
Merry Christmas, one and all. Happy holidays, happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Festivus, whatever you celebrate. Happy holidays to all the nerds out there.
Yes, whether you're an SNL nerd or not. And we have some special guests this week, Darren.
We do. Two guests in a row. This is phenomenal, man. Woof.
Yeah.
Guys, we have two amazing podcasters with us here today from the Standby Line podcast, the world famous Standby Line podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Jill and Amanda. Hey, guys.
Hi. Hello.
Hey, welcome. Thank you so much for doing this. It's always fun to talk to other people from the SNL podcast booth here.
It's really nice. Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, we're excited. So we're going to cover the most recent episode, the Kristen Wiig Dua Lipa episode from December 19th, 2020, season 46, episode 9. But before we get into the show, why don't we get to know you two a little bit more? Like, how did you get into Saturday Night Live? What's your SNL origin story? Why'd you decide to start up a podcast about it?
Yes, hit us.
You want to go first since it was kind of your mastermind?
Well, here's the thing. So I started with SNL because of, honestly, Kate McKinnon in Ghostbusters. That's where I started with SNL. And then I knew Jill from...
I've been watching it since I was in high school, which, I mean, it's not that much of a flex because I've been out of high school about, I would say 11 years now. So I've been watching for about 11 years, which is not that much compared to some people, but it's always been, there for me. But I didn't actually start going to the show. I found out it was a thing you could even do in 2016. So that's when I started, really going hard, going to the show and stuff and not just watching at home.
And so that's how I met Jill, was we knew each other from Twitter, and I saw that she was going to the show, and I was like, hey, that sounds fun. So I decided to go to the show as well, and the rest is history. Now we have this podcast situation because we kind of wanted a way to, just for ourselves, keep a log of the things that we saw, like the cut sketches and things that nobody else really gets to see unless you're in the studio. And we decided to do a podcast about it kind of for ourselves. And then it has evolved.
And then it turned into being unofficially not in charge of, but kind of, holding down the standby line and giving counts and stuff because it was something we were doing every week. So why not, keep people updated and try to give them tips for doing it? Because I would rather have people come and do it, follow it, the direction or, directions, rules or whatever, do it the right way than have them come and, not know what to do or, cut or do these other things. So we figured why not just give people, there was really not much we saw online that was recent and up to date about doing it. So we were like, well, why don't we just help people out? And then it just turned into this big standby line thing, I guess.
It's a thing now, I guess.
We haven't gone since March, obviously, so.
Right. And but before that, you were going every single week and waiting and trying to get into the show, right?
Yeah. Between the two of us, we have, I think, 70 shows total. I wasn't lucky enough to see one of the episodes this season. So that was 42 for me. So yeah, we have a lot. Last season, season 45, we did every episode. So wow. Yeah, we're pretty, we have a lot under our belt as far as that. But again, standby line hasn't been a thing since March. So.
Right.
Okay. But that doesn't stop people from
trying
to go.
Yeah, we had a hot tip that they had to kick out some people because fans were trying to wait for the Timothée Chalamet show.
Yeah.
That's not too surprising.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now, how often would you be able to get in? And would you more often see the dress rehearsal or the actual live show?
I have actually never been turned away. I've done 42 out of 42 somehow.
Nice.
Somehow. The closest one I ever got turned away from was Adam Driver, and I was literally I think we were the last 3 people in. But we normally do the dress rehearsal because that's where you get to see cut sketches. But we've done a couple live shows too if it's something really, really special. Like usually if it's a finale, we'll do a live show or something.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. I mean, I'm really glad that you guys are doing all this and like putting all this information out for people on letting them know how to see the show live. Because I mean, as somebody I've grown up in the tri-state area for like all my life, and I've never seen the show live just because I just never knew how to do it. I just figured
Right.
it's something maybe like some touristy thing that the tourists did, and I just never knew how to go about it. And so like the fact that you're doing this is really amazing.
It's usually a pretty good mix of like New York locals and then whatever, tourists from whatever, guest is on that week. But there's actually quite a few locals that do it.
Oh, okay. I wasn't aware of that.
So cool. And it's just so cool that you're demystifying the whole process. I mean, that's really, I hesitate to call it a public service, but it's a very cool thing to do,
Sometimes I do feel like we're public service. I won't lie. On those, those Harry Style BTS weeks, I do feel like we are public service.
Honestly, the amount of DMs we get asking like line updates and things, that's why we kind of started publishing it all, because we were getting so many questions.
Uh-huh.
I mean, like I said, I would rather have people come and do it the quote unquote right way than come and do it and try to do things, wrong.
Without knowing.
Right.
It just makes it better standby for everybody, I guess,
Yeah, sure, because you don't want people who are just ignorantly doing it wrong to screw things up for everybody.
Right.
Now I've heard stories about them sometimes like getting food for people on the standby line when they're waiting outside. Have you had any like cool interactions with the cast or anything like that when you've been outside waiting?
With the cast or because usually the people who send out food is actually like the hosts for that week. But like recently, last season for 45, Taylor sent out pizza.
Taylor Swift, she's talking about.
Sorry. Sent out
you had a first name basis with her?
Our friend Taylor.
Right.
I call her Tay-Tay.
Yeah, Taylor Swift sent out pizza. Harry Styles sent out
watermelons and cherries.
Watermelon for his song.
And Dunkin'.
And Dunkin'
Very on
Donut.
brand.
Yep. John Mulaney has also sent out pizza. Lin-Manuel Miranda has sent out pizza. I mean, normally it's pizza, as you can hear, but
right. Yeah.
That's pretty much last season. That's all that the host really did. It is nice every night, Friday night, Lorne Michaels, quote unquote, sends out soup from upstairs because, before pre-COVID, they had somebody upstairs, who would do a lot of cooking and stuff and catering for them. And soup was one of the things. So they would send out, I don't know if they personally work for SNL, if they're just NBC crew, but they were chefs and they would come down with a cart and they would pass out soup to the whole standby line, which, if you've been there on a Friday night. But so that's a nice thing that they do.
We call it the Lorne soup.
The Lorne soup.
The Lorne soup. It's like Lorne flavored soup?
Exactly.
Yeah. It's very dry.
It's very dry, and which is a quality you don't get in a lot of soups.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know how they do it, but they do it.
I mean, the cast, in terms of the cast, they don't do really anything involving the line, which is, I mean, that's not surprising. They don't really...
Honestly,
they don't really owe anything to us. But.
What's really funny about the line is, like, with the cast, is that a lot of times they will literally walk past and people are so absorbed in their own world that they have no idea that, like, Kyle Mooney has just walked past the whole line.
That's funny. Well, I mean, I guess, some people, they just have the ability to blend, and I can see Kyle Mooney as being one of those people. I actually met him randomly on the street like a year or two ago when I was leaving the New York Comic Con, and he was just walking by in the area, and I recognized him, and I was like, excuse me, is your name Kyle? And he's like, yeah. And, grabbed a quick picture with him. And it was a funny thing because, like, I just met Lorraine Newman inside the con that day. So
that's so cool. That's a good day right there.
A good one.
That's a good day. It's not too often you meet somebody from the original cast and the present day cast.
That's amazing.
The only thing that I can remember is last year for the Christmas show, they sent Bowen and Chloe out and they handed out tickets actually to the live show. But
that was really cool.
That's really it. As far as like the standby line goes, I mean, you can meet them in other ways after the show and stuff, but that's, as far as the standby line. Normally if the host is going to send out anything, normally it's them that does.
Yeah, it's just like staff from upstairs that brings it out.
Right. And it sounds like it's a real commitment because you have to line up on
Oh
Friday
yes,
for
it
the
is a
Saturday
big.
shows.
It is a big commitment.
Yeah, you get there on Friday and you have to kind of spend the night in line, which is another reason we wanted to give tips, because we want people to be safe on the streets of New York in, 20-degree weather. But
Right.
so you spend the night there, and then in the morning, that's when you get your standby cards, and then you kind of go home and take a nap, regroup, and then you come back later.
I see. Okay. Okay. Well, very cool. Well, I mean, what are some other tips that you could give to people who, like, when COVID is done with and people want to do the SNL standby line? What is like the number one tip you would give people?
Well, I mean, hopefully there is a standby line.
Yeah,
I hope so. Yeah.
Hopefully, what am I trying to say? Like, thinking in the mindset that things might not change. I don't know if things are going to change after this, but I guess, number one tip? I don't know. Number one.
My number one tip, I think,
long.
is, I know,
I
right?
can't remember.
Is pack as, like, be prepared, but bring as little as possible, because you kind of get shifted around and they don't really have much.
They do move you a lot.
Yeah, so just make sure that your stuff is compact enough to bring around, and I don't know, bring a snack, because you'll be there for a while.
Okay.
Pack
I mean,
a lunch.
has it been a real adjustment not being able to do this on a regular basis since March?
Yes, it's been really, really. I mean, at this point, we have an entire closet in our house that is just full of our standby line stuff. So it was, I mean, I told our friends, like, we kind of lived each week by week prepping for that weekend if there was a show, if you know what I mean, and what we needed to get done and stuff. So I guess it's just been, I feel like since going, I've gotten less, like, I've gotten a little bit more lazy because I didn't have something, keeping me, like, motivated and stuff all the time. But it's very, I think the hardest part is watching it on TV, because we're so used to always being there. So it's, that's kind of hard, because you see a sketch you really love and you're like, man, I really would have loved to see that.
No, that sucks.
Would you record the show and watch the show after you'd been to the live taping?
Yeah, we would most of the time come for, our own podcast purposes, because we needed to know, like, what changed and stuff. So we would come home and watch the live or come home the next day and watch the live show. Yeah.
Wow. All right, cool. And I guess do you have any maybe stories or interesting things that's happened while on the standby line? I mean, I imagine, like, you guys standing on the streets of New York, like, something must have happened.
I want you to tell your Shane Gillis story.
No, I don't know.
I'll tell
people
it
on this podcast and like him.
No, but I mean, like, it was just really funny because we were hanging out in standby, and you're killing all kinds of time, so you do all sorts of things. You group up and move around on the line, and we were kind of like under, like, the NBC sign, and turned around, and Shane Gillis was walking past. And you could see, like,
this is inappropriate.
No, Jill.
No, go for it. I want to hear this.
Inappropriate is our brand. So.
I don't particularly like him. I think that he has said a lot of very unkind things that I don't necessarily agree with in my personal life. Not to get political at all, but I just, I don't like some of the things he said.
So anyway, it was like right after the news, that he had been dropped from the cast. So he was, like, walking by, and Jill kind of
very kind of weird.
I know,
he had just been fired and he was lurking around the building. But.
I mean, perhaps there was business to be done. I don't know. But Jill, like, recognized him, and I think she said, "Is that Shane Gillis?" And he had, like, one earbud in or something. So he heard her say it, and he kind of, like, looked up and grinned. And then
you don't
Jill,
need to go further.
Yeah. So anyway, I thought that was the craziest thing, is, like, right after he's announced to no longer be in the cast, that we were in standby and he was just walking by.
Oh, wow. Maybe he's trying to get tickets to the show.
Yeah, maybe so.
I mean,
that's an interesting moment in time. Yeah, the Shane Gillis thing was it was weird just because of how quickly it all shook out. I mean, it was crazy. I mean, he was, like, officially a cast member for what, like 2-3 days or something?
The shortest stint ever.
Yeah. I was literally expecting him to at least do a show or two. I mean, I was expecting that whole thing to shake out in a different way than it did. So,
yeah.
We did when BTS was on the show.
Oh, yeah.
We had to get in line Monday night, so
wow,
that was fun. That's always an interesting story I tell. Is that we did. I think we added it up, but we did 103 hours in standby line.
I mean, where do you go to the bathroom? 103 hours.
You can. I mean, you're allowed to leave and take breaks and stuff.
And
so.
Rockefeller is open,
They have
during
the
the
bathroom
daytime.
right there,
and
so.
I think they're open from like 6 a.m. to like 10
11
p.m. Yeah,
11,
so I mean,
yeah.
you've got options there.
We saw we saw Michael Moore once. He came out to the line and was very chatty with everybody.
Oh, wow.
Was he like trying to get you to unionize or anything like that?
No, he just was. I'm going to be honest. I don't. He kind of just went on rambling. I don't really remember what he talked about.
That tracks.
I'm trying to think of other cool things we've seen. I mean, I feel like we've had a lot of cool moments, but
Yeah, we didn't really see it, but someone in our friend group watched David Byrne like drive away on a bicycle on like a Friday night.
That's cool.
Again, that tracks.
Yeah,
that's cool.
All right, that's fantastic. Well, I mean, it seems like you both love SNL, and I mean, so you I believe Amanda, you said you got into the show once you watched the Ghostbusters movie. So I guess you're a Kate McKinnon person. That's like your
well, I started out as
Cecily Strong people.
I definitely started out as a Kate McKinnon person, but over time I have learned to appreciate and become more seasoned, and I have a lot of favorites now. But yes, I did start out as a Kate McKinnon person.
Okay, well, who else do you like? Who else is on your?
I mean, Cecily Strong.
Yeah,
that's our like
Jill's answer. Jill's answer to everything is Cecily.
That's our main girl.
Yeah,
that's we've had a lot of really amazing like times and moments with her, and she's that's our main girl.
But I'm a Bowen Yang fan.
Yeah, Bowen Yang. We love Chloe and Ego.
Gosh,
I mean, I don't. There's nobody on the cast I dislike. I am very attached to all of them right now. I think they're even with this massive cast. Even the new players, we haven't gotten to know them much, but I just I really am attached to this cast. I think they're all really nice people
and talented.
Yes, I mean, so are there any old cast members that you really enjoy or really? I mean,
I guess they're old to me again because I'm 30, so I don't mind sharing my age. But so I started watching when I was like 19, 20. So like old, I know it's not old, but old to me is like I loved Amy Poehler. Obviously, she was a huge one for me. I am a big Gilda fan. I love her. I mean,
Catherine O'Hara,
yes, yeah. But I just I'm not super into the older episodes and like the older cast members as much as kind of I am into the new generation. I haven't even worked my way entirely through all the old ones yet, so.
Well, it's also got to be interesting because like if you're watching something from before your time, it's such a topical show. You might not always have like the full context of like, okay, well, what the heck are they talking about?
Right.
I'm a huge Will Ferrell fan. I know that's kind of a basic answer, but I've always been a huge fan of his since I was young. But
yeah, no, that makes sense. I mean, Will Ferrell, he was one of the major reasons that like that kind of revamped the show because like before he was on, like the show was kind of in the doldrums for a little bit, like that old Chris Elliott, Michael McKean era where it was
right.
Jay Moore. It was really kind of needed a revamp, and like so they just kind of twisted the whole, not twisted, but like they kind of turned around the whole cast, and like Will Ferrell came on, Sherry O'Terry, Molly Shannon,
Sherry. I love Sherry O'Terry. Yeah, she's another
good stuff.
My trio would go like Gilda, Sherry, Cecily from like the generations. They're all like a trio to me. They're very similar, but like generational. So
yeah, here Sherry Terry's like super underrated. Like I remember when she came on, she was just like exploded onto the screen. She was just like so physical and just like really like was like a force. And
I love I think I really like the physical comedy, like the way. I mean, again, like very physical, like what's the word I'm trying to think of? Like over the top, or sorry, I hit my mic. Like the over the top, slapstick stuff. So,
like when like Molly Shannon was Mary Catherine Gallagher. And just,
Yeah, just like
threw herself-
really ridiculous, over the top stuff.
yeah,
Right,
I still
right.
think about the times when like Mary Catherine Gallagher like literally just threw herself onto like a stack of metal folding chairs.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like you knew, like I remember that and
The
thinking
commitment,
like,
yeah,
that had to hurt.
Yeah.
You could see the bruises on her legs.
Like, there's no padding. Like she's literally
No.
just throwing herself onto metal chairs as they just go clanging around the floor. It's like
I loved
Yeah.
it, like recently that I don't know why this made me think of it, but like when Jason and Cecily were in those balls and like they started throwing themselves around, I was like, geez, that must kind of
Oh, yeah, like-
rolling yourself around.
yeah,
Yeah.
like Cecily rolled over Mikey Day.
Yeah,
It was incredible. It made
The
me laugh so
commitment,
hard.
The commitment.
Yeah, that was yeah, that was fantastic.
Well, were you excited about Kristen Wiig coming back to host this week?
Yeah, I was sad because, I have like a running list of SNL alumni that I've gotten to see host, and unfortunately she's not on my list. So I was a little sad that I didn't get to see her, but that's one of the I would have loved to see that show, but she is just always, I feel like a lot of people just associate SNL with her, and it's just because she's so I feel like there's not anything that she couldn't do that
No,
would
an
be
MVP.
funny. Yeah.
She's an MVP.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It's fantastic. All right, well, so with that, let's get into the episode, guys.
Yeah.
Let's
Okay.
talk about it.
All right, I'm excited.
So,
All right.
So, first off, top of the show, we had the cold open. We had Pence gets the vaccine with Mike Bennett playing VP Mike Pence getting the COVID vaccine. And what do we think of this, guys?
I am thrilled for the introduction of Alex Moffat
yeah.
as Biden.
Yeah.
We come from like the Stan culture side of Twitter. So on our side of like Stan culture, everybody for this past week, well, not this past week, since Jim Carrey made that tweet, everybody has been predicting Alex. So when he came out as Joe Biden, the internet like on Twitter side exploded.
Just so proud.
Yeah.
Yeah. that was cool. Yeah, that was the big news this week where Jim Carrey announced that he wasn't going to go beyond the 6 episodes that he did as Joe Biden. I guess because he saw what happened to Alec Baldwin the last 4 years.
And it's great for Alex because he's about to become a dad. So this is like an awesome lock-in for him in terms of, because if he does need to kind of step away for a little bit to be with his son or for whatever reason, he can kind of just come on and play Biden and then,
Mm-hmm.
beep out for the rest of the episode. But
I'm just happy that we're going to have a cast member playing the president again because it seems like it's been so long.
Yeah, I'm
it
excited
has.
for that too.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people, Alec just got really stale.
Yeah, because we've talked about this before. It was obviously just everyone was expecting Trump to lose the election, so it was just going to be a gag for a few weeks and get the most out of it. And then he actually wins, and they just keep going on with it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it didn't work out the way anyone was expecting it to, I think.
No, it did not.
I think like
go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I think Alex saw the news about Carrie saying he wasn't going to do it anymore. Then I just picture him somewhere and being like, "Oh, I could have just done that. I could have just said no."
Yeah. Well, he did.
I could have just graciously bowed out.
I think I read several articles like 2 years in a row that Alex stated he was like, "I am not returning back," and then the premiere came and there he was. So
yeah, he always made noises about it, and I could see why it would get old for him and why the joke would wear thin or whatever. But I don't know if they upped his price or if he just was in a bad mood those days, or who knows.
I don't know. I was surprised that they kind of went through with the Giuliani joke about the hair dye because it had been. Amanda and I both said it's a funny joke to play off of, but it had been a week or two kind of late. So I was kind of surprised that they ended up doing that.
Yeah. I guess they just want to get the most out of Giuliani while they still can.
Yeah, I did think that too. Like, just because it's such a topical show, the whole hair dye thing. Like, when Kate came out as Rudy with the hair dye, I was like, oh, that feels dated now. Even though it was only a couple weeks ago, it feels like old news.
Well, the news cycle is so fast these days. But I thought I don't feel like Alex has quite nailed his Biden yet, but I'm sure that'll evolve with time. I did like that he came out with the Willy Wonka entrance.
Yeah, I mean, he's got 4 years to practice, so
Exactly. And it feels like the basic take on Biden right now is like he's this well-meaning but kind of clueless guy. Which
do you guys have like guesses about who you think is going to play Jill Biden? Because I think it's going to be Heidi, because they've used her before, right?
I could totally see it being Heidi.
I think they're gonna. My guess is that they're gonna stick with Heidi.
Yeah, Heidi seems like the most logical choice because I don't see it being Kate because she's probably not going to be on the show that much longer. So.
Right.
I don't think Kate would. I don't think Kate is so much like a Jill Biden. I think she's more like, like a Hillary Clinton, if that makes sense. Whereas she's kind of not
personality.
She's not like a second B team. She's kind of like an A team. So I don't think they would use her as Jill Biden. But I definitely, I would love for the next 4 years to see it be, as you said, 2 cast members and have it be Alex and Heidi.
Yeah.
Or even Chloe. I'd love to see it as Chloe too.
Yeah, and too.
We also had Maya Rudolph, of course, coming on as Kamala Harris, and it kind of raises the question, like, how much longer is she going to stick around? Is she going to stick around and keep on playing her, or is she just there temporarily?
So. I hope they don't replace her. I think she is. I don't think at this point, I don't know if they could replace her. She's so like the face of Kamala Harris on SNL.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, she's such a great fit for the role. I kind of hate to see her stop. So
maybe because she is an SNL alum that it'll probably be easier to keep her around.
She seems to really enjoy being back on the show because she's basically like another cast member at this point this season.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, there have been like in the other past shows, like the shows leading up to the election, she was when she played Kamala, then she was in other sketches. And
right.
She was in like 2 or 3 sketches one episode.
She's like on the show more than when she was on the show.
Yeah. She got like more screen time than Melissa. It was like...
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
I think it would be nice just to have like one celebrity, I guess if that's, what you want to call Maya, like celebrity cameo.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'd really like to see them scale back the stunt casting a bit because I think they made too much of a meal of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
Yeah, I really think they're going to do that this year. They're really going to... Because I think they've heard... like all the people saying, hey, you rely too much on stunt casting. I can see them pulling it back. Like even with this cold open, I know it was only 6 minutes. And like, I think that's from them knowing that people have been saying, hey, these cold opens are crazy long. Just, I mean, we've been saying on this podcast forever. It's just like, trim the fat, shorten it, and just make it shorter.
I think they caught so much heat for these past 7 episodes where it was like you had 20 cast members and almost like half of the show percentage-wise was cameo screen time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
And again, I get why they do it because if you don't do that, you don't get like a story on Vulture the next day. Like, look who popped up on SNL last month.
That's exactly. We were talking to another podcast recently. That is exactly what Amanda said. Is like they do it because they need those little extra ratings. But
yeah.
They need to go viral.
Mm-hmm.
Or the clicks on YouTube the next day.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah. So, next we had Kristen Wiig's monologue. It's on YouTube as Kristen Wiig 2020 Holiday Monologue, where she comes out and she sings a version of My Favorite Things from The Sound of Music with somewhat altered lyrics.
Right. Kristen Wiig comes out, nice glittery dress. She announces that she had twins. Mm-hmm. And then she goes into this song about her favorite things, but they're all different things. Like, Hawk and Shaloub are her favorite Tonys, and just like a lot of just oddball things she says.
Yeah.
I thought it was fun that they brought Maya out because it was like 2000s SNL for like 5 minutes.
Yeah. And those two are really tight. Apparently they really bonded when they were on the show together. Mm-hmm. Like their tenures kind of briefly overlapped. Yeah. And I think that's part of why they did Bridesmaids together was because they're such good friends.
Mm-hmm.
So it was nice to see Maya come out to support her, and then Kate McKinnon to come out and like at first correcting them on the lyrics and then leaning into it with the goofy fake lyrics.
Right.
I thought this was kind of funky because I watched the 10 p.m. rerun and they had a sketch from a few years ago, or the show from a few years ago with Paul Rudd and One Direction. And they did a Sound of Music sketch in that.
Oh, that's funny.
Really?
Yeah, so I thought it was like just this weird connection, and of course, like Kate was in that as well, and so was Kristen Wiig as her the character with the misshapen hands, who was from the Lawrence Welk show. That I'm blanking on the character name.
Denise.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm Denise. So I was kind of having flashbacks to that during the monologue.
Oh, I forgot about that. Uh,
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, as far as I kind of dug this monologue. I thought it was like nice and upbeat and fun. I thought the one part where Kate comes out and says the correct lyrics to my favorite things, and immediately Kristen and Maya kind of turn on her, saying, "Oh, that's I think it's when the line where Kate says, 'Oh, cream-colored ponies,' and Maya says that sounds kind of racist." And,
Yeah.
like,
I did like the deconstruction of the actual lyrics. That was funny. I wasn't nuts about it in general. I mean, I think I like the idea more than the execution personally.
Okay. What do you guys think about it, Jill, Amanda?
I really liked that it was Maya and Kristen, and then it was almost kind of like an induction of Kate in sort of that group, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. But I thought it was really fun that Kate came out. And of course, Kate and Kristen are friends as well. It's just, it felt kind of like home, I guess. It felt good. I liked it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, you definitely got the sense that the three of them were like genuinely good friends who genuinely enjoyed each other's company. You got that sense of warmth and camaraderie. And that, I think, kind of helped the performance and the monologue out quite a bit.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes it's just enough to see some of your favorite cast members on stage together. It's just enough to you get that kick.
Yeah, I agree.
Right. All right. So next we had the first sketch, which was Secret Word Holiday Edition. This was Kristen revisiting her old character of Mindy Elise Grayson, where they're playing this password type game, and she keeps giving away the clues because she is so clueless herself.
Right. Oh, and we should also mention Keenan's back. Keenan's back for this episode.
Yeah.
Very exciting. We missed him.
And of course, his first thing is a
game show host.
Yeah.
Right.
In 1964, which I'm like, that doesn't quite track.
Just go along with it. Don't question it.
Yeah, I don't know. Me seeing Keenan as host, it just really made me miss Bill Hader because it's Bill Hader was just put on this earth to play game show hosts and SNL sketches.
I feel like Keenan is like this generation's like game show host. I feel like they always have him as the game show host.
Oh yeah, they do it a lot. I just feel like that Bill was a lot better at it. I think it was much more in Bill's wheelhouse.
I mean, for me, what's that name is like a Hall of Famer.
Mm-hmm.
I could watch that anytime, any day.
Yeah. What do I want? Chaos.
Still makes me laugh.
Yeah.
All right. So Kristen Wiig is bringing back her character, Mindy Grayson. We have Kate McKinnon as an Austrian actress, Elke, who's like a very kind of dark, brooding type of character, but she's like the number one comedic actress in Austria.
Right.
And it's just them playing Secret Word. It's pretty much like it's pretty much a lot like the same sketch that they've done before with the Secret Word. It's just,
Well, yeah. I mean, it's one of those sketches that just kind of follows a formula, I think. So, she's gonna say some stupid stuff. She's gonna say some semi-offensive stuff. I did like, because all the secret words were Christmas themed. She had trimming the tree, and they did. And I was covering the tea, and so she thinks it says rimming the tree.
Right.
I thought Kate was a good addition to it. I thought they played off each other well in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there was that one joke I kind of liked where it was Lauren Holt and Kristen Wiig's character, and I think Lauren Holt said, "Oh, is it my turn?" And then Kristen was like, "Oh, that sounds like when I was in my first Hollywood orgy," because you have to network.
I think obviously Kristen was the star of it, and I think everyone was probably just, whether the sketch was good or bad, they were probably just excited to see Kristen doing that character.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's probably a favorite of hers too, because it seems like it's one that she revisits a lot when she comes back to the show.
Right. I think a lot of people were wondering what characters she would bring back. I think people were thinking maybe Dunice or Target Lady. So to see this one character come back, there's like, oh, all right, it's getting the band back together. Some of the old stuff. Yeah. So I dug this one. I thought it was cute.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I thought it was all right. Next, we have Christmas Morning, which was a pre-tape with a family singing all about their cool presents, and Kristen, as the mom, just got a robe, and
I thought
and
this was
everyone
really
just keeps
funny.
going on and on about their increasingly cool presents, and mom got a robe.
Right. Like the dad got a pinball machine, the son got a drone and a telescope. At one point, the dad got a pizza oven.
Yeah,
Nice.
And the mom got a robe that was on sale for 40% off.
yeah, they didn't even cut the tags off, and then she later goes to make breakfast and she burns herself in the oven.
Yeah. She keeps the pain inside.
Yes, yes. And then at the end, we have Keenan narrating, just saying, like, this year, get your mom more than one present because moms like stuff too, which nice message to send.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it needed that little voiceover, but I thought it was pretty nice. Like, I thought like maybe just the sketch itself was enough to get that message across. You didn't really need that little extra voiceover. But yeah. I mean, for the most part, I dug this sketch. I thought it was pretty neat. I liked at that little twist at the end where the kids say, "Oh, it looks like there's more presents under the tree," and then mom thinks it's for her, but the presents are actually for the dog.
Yeah.
And then we see Chloe's actual dog come out.
Yeah.
Her dog Peach.
Oh my gosh, his Peach's debut.
I was
the most
wondering whose
excited
dog
about-
that was.
right away,
I know that's
I
his dog
yelled
Lucy,
Peach.
but yeah, I didn't know Chloe's dog Peach. So I'll have to learn to recognize Peach from now on.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, do you follow her on Instagram?
I do, but I'm not like the most active person on Instagram.
Okay, I was gonna
don't
say
think
I think she posts Peach on there like every day, and he's so funny. Peach is a boy, and he's so funny. And right away I was like, I got the most excited about seeing Peach in the sketch. I was like, Peach.
I legit thought you were talking about like Peach's Instagram account for a minute. I was like, oh, does the dog have an Instagram account?
No, I meant Chloe's.
Oh, okay, I was like, whoa, the dog has an Instagram?
I mean, I'm sure it's gonna come. I'm sure she'll make one.
Oh,
I will have to keep out more of an eye for Peach on Instagram. Okay, well,
yeah.
yeah, I like this. I thought this was funny. It was one of my favorites of the night.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah,
I really liked it too. What I thought is so funny, which is true about most things, is that it's hilarious because it's so real. And I just think about our poor mothers who just spend their lives raising us and we get them trashed.
yeah.
Dad gets cologne, mom gets a robe, and that's that.
That's it.
Yep.
And I also like the little twist at the end where like they actually got the dog a robe too.
Yes. It's not even her special thing anymore. She's just and the dog's robe wasn't discounted.
Right,
Oh,
exactly.
No.
Probably more expensive.
You gotta go all out for that dog.
Yeah. I mean, you got to take care of the dog. I mean, let's be real.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, this was a great sketch written by Dan Bulla and Steve Casilio and directed by Paul Puganti.
Nice. Next, we had USO Performance, which was an Army talent show, and they bring out Kristen as a nurse who's singing a number. She calls up Bowen Yang from the audience, and they do a techno song together.
Right. Like the twist is this takes place in 1944, and you hear everybody talking that old 40s, old-timey 40s talk. We're like, hey there, boys, we're gonna go out and get the Kaiser. Like that.
That's right. They're all talking like old movie stars.
Yeah, like John Mulaney.
Yeah, exactly. As you do.
Yeah, so it's Kristen Wiig as the nurse performing for the troops. She brings up Bowen Yang for the song called Love Fight, and it immediately goes into this modern day kind of breakup song. I looked into it. A lot of people say it sounded a lot like a Whitney Houston song. It's not right, but it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of took on
I
that
can see it.
For a minute, I actually thought it was a Dua Lipa song, but apparently it's not. And I thought that even more so because in this sketch, we do get a cameo from Dua Lipa.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, playing the other woman. Yeah, I was kind of confused during the sketch because I had no idea if it was a real song or not. So
I'm the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, we're huge Bowen fans, so we loved it. And I feel like that sketch is kind of right up like Stan culture, Twitter, area. So I thought it was so funny. I loved it. Anything Bowen does like that, I love it.
I was really in the beginning when she first calls him up, I was like, oh, this is such a weird character that Bowen is playing. And then we got the twist and I was like, oh my God, there it is. That's what I was waiting for.
Uh-huh.
It's like, that's why he's there. Okay.
So good.
Yeah, I don't know if this one entirely worked for me. I found it just more weird than funny, personally. It just wasn't my thing, but I'm glad it spoke to you. That's very cool.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like a lot of the people in the audience really loved it. I mean, I'm sure those were like the Dua Lipa fans who really, I think that really put it over for a lot of folks. They just want to see their singer do their thing, and
they went nuts when she came out.
Yeah, and like grind on Bowen Yang and spank him. Right,
as you do.
As you do.
But yeah, so that was the USO sketch. Next up, we have what's called a teacher, I believe.
A teacher,
yes.
Yes.
Amanda and I, this is one of our favorite shows.
We just got into the show, so as SNL is topical, we were like, yes, thank you so much for whoever in this writing room is also obsessed with this show.
Now I've only seen like a trailer for the show. I know it's a show with like Kate Mara, and she's playing a teacher who has an affair with a student, and that's
all
the
whole show. That's all. That's all
you need to know.
There's nothing else. That's
okay.
the whole show.
All right.
There's literally nothing else about the show. That's it.
That's the elevator pitch.
But the twist here is that Ego is playing like
oh my God, she's so
African American teacher, and she just is the student tries to come onto her, and she just is not having it.
I mean, Ego is just such
chef's kiss all the time.
I think she gets slightly underrated, but like every single thing she does, she performs and she does it 100%. And I feel like she is just such a like golden addition to the show. She is so comical and just, I don't know. I think she's so funny. Every time I see her star in a sketch, it's like one of the funniest of the night.
I'm pretty consistently impressed with Ego. I mean, it seems like whenever they throw her the ball, she scores.
Yep.
You know,
right? Like, I think I said in the last week's episode with the Dionne Warwick sketch, I was like, Ego. I'll say it now. I think she's kind of the future of this show because like every time you put her, she's been getting more and more stuff this season, and like every time she gets to show more and more her range and what she can really do. And she's just been knocking it out the park. And like I really think she's going to be the breakout. Like
I know a lot of fans on Twitter really want to see her as a weekend update anchor, but I genuinely hope that doesn't happen because her talent deserves to be in sketches. And that's what happened with Cecily is she wanted to leave update because she wasn't getting that, sketch time. And Ego is like Cecily where they shine in sketches.
Yeah, I agree. And actually, oddly enough, in that Paul Rudd episode that they reran at 10, it was from that brief period of time when Cecily was co-hosting Weekend Update with Seth Meyers, but right before Colin came on. And it's just so funny to see her and be like, oh, that was a thing that happened for a few months.
It is. Every time I see her on it, I'm like, what was she doing? And I'm like, oh, I forgot that she was on that.
Yeah. I mean, because she just did not last long. I mean, of her own choice. Not that she did a bad job.
Right.
No, she just wanted to be in sketches. And that's why I hope that the position isn't offered to Ego, because I don't know whether or not she would say yes or no and then maybe regret her choice. But she just shines in sketches. And I think she needs to be in sketches.
Yes.
I agree. 100%.
Yeah.
She had like a couple of good lines in this thing where like the teenager comes on to her and she's not having it. And she says, oh, what was your plan? We just go hook up in the backseat of your bike?
I like a couple lines I liked. She says, you're pulling a C- in my class. That ain't hot for me.
That ain't hot for me, yeah. I like when she was like, no, not in my car. My car is new, or whatever she said.
Yeah. And
so
I think my favorite line was just like, the student says she's really confident. She says, yeah, I've got that swagger that you have when you're not a pedophile. I love that she's just rejecting the entire idea as just totally absurd. She's not even considering it for a half second. I mean, that was a great twist. That was a great turn.
It was so good. When they first started, I was like, oh, they're just gonna, play off the show. And then it was Ego, and I was like, this was a very smart choice to go this way.
Yeah.
I mean, I
sketch of the night for me.
yeah, I mean, I like the first half of the sketch. I don't know about the second half when Kristen Wiig comes in, because then you kind of feel like the tone shift a little bit, and then it goes to Kristen and how she actually does want to be with the kid, and once he turned 18, he's not feeling it anymore.
Yeah, and I mean, it's one of those sketches where if you're not familiar with the show, it's not as funny, I guess, because that they do kind of play off. That does kind of happen in the show, but yeah, there's been those sketches before where they do like digital's or something about shows that I've never seen, and I'm like, oh, it's okay, it's kind of funny, but then people who know the show think it's just such a great sketch. So I think it depends on how much you know it or not, but I agree. Right. They obviously had to put Kristen in there somehow. So, but Ego was obviously the star of that.
Yeah. Totally. I don't know if you necessarily needed the Kristen stuff in the end, but I didn't mind it. I thought it still worked.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, next up, we got a deleted scene from Home Alone 2, and we get Melissa Villaseñor playing the Macaulay Culkin character, Kevin McAllister, and Kristen Wiig playing the homeless bird lady, the pigeon lady that was in Central Park. This is. What do you guys think?
You can talk about this because Amanda has a fun tidbit.
Ooh,
what is that?
Melissa's podcast?
Oh yeah, okay. I was like, what is my tidbit? So first of all, again, the topical nature. We had just binge watched all of the Home Alone movies,
3.
So we were watching it and we were like, yes, SNL like knows my heart. I am moved by this. But I was listening to Melissa's podcast,
laughing with myself.
Yep.
Oh, wow. I didn't even know about that.
Oh, it's really funny. You should check it out. It's just her. Well, you'll see kind of like she actually gives a lot of hints to sketches about the show. So
she does. So I was listening to her podcast. It's just kind of like her hanging out in her apartment chatting, with herself.
Laughing.
And she was talking about Home Alone, and she was like, Kevin McAllister has this credit card. Why is he not, buying her a hotel room or, that kind of thing? Basically the premise of the sketch. And so when it came on and I had just listened to her podcast talking about it, I was like, I love this. Is this something Melissa pitched and got to air? And
clearly it is.
Yeah. So I was like, I was very excited for Melissa to get this to air.
We DM'd her on Instagram. We were like, we just listened to your podcast. We just watched the movies. This was so funny. And she was, talking about it and laughing and stuff. And so it was just really cool to hear her talk about like a joke idea she had on her podcast and then see it turned into the sketch that she pitched and it got on the air because as we know, Melissa, doesn't get as much time as she deserves. So I thought it was so great that she came up with this thing and talked about it and pitched it and it got on air. So
yeah. So, I mean, that's how I felt about the sketch, was just very excited for Melissa.
Oh, nice.
That is very cool. That is a cool little behind the scenes tidbit. I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, it's happened a couple times on her podcast. She has mentioned jokes. Like more recently, she did an update segment. I forget who it was, but she went on update for something, and it had been again something that she joked about on her podcast. So it seems like she kind of gets these joke ideas, and they stay in her head for a while. And she talks about them on her podcast. She pitches them. So it's neat to see because it's not the first time it happened, so it's pretty cool. Yeah,
well, that's great. Wow, I'm subscribing to that podcast right now.
Yeah, it's fun to. She makes you she has such an infectious laugh, so she makes you laugh with it, and she does say a lot of funny jokes on there.
That's cool. I'll check it out. Yeah, I don't know if the sketch entirely worked for me. I think partly I might. Kind of like what you were saying with the last sketch. I've never watched any of the Home Alone movies, so I only know like the broad strokes of them.
You never saw the first one?
How have you never seen any?
I was 18 when the first one came out, so it was not something I was looking to watch.
You need to do yourself a Christmas favor, a holiday favor, and watch them.
Wow.
I'm good.
I mean,
I think I'm good. I mean, I think my window on the Home Alone movies, and I'm fine with that.
All right.
I did like the pigeon lady just murdering the wet bandits and just stabbing them with her umbrella. I enjoyed the dark twist.
That got dark.
Dark twist.
Yeah, the ending was pretty I'll admit that was kind of funny. Where like it's just like her stabbing the guys and just blood splurting on her face, and of course Kevin McAllister and Melissa Villaseñor doing the hands to the face scream, and then of course the sketch ends with, "Oh my God, did you kill those guys?" And she's like, "No, we killed those guys.
We did it together, best friends.
Yeah. I did think it was a bit of a reach at the beginning where they're talking about like, oh, it's the 30th anniversary of Home Alone, so let's do this deleted scene from Home Alone 2, which is, I looked it up. It's a movie that came out in 1992. So I'm like, well, why did you do the 30th anniversary thing? Just do your Home Alone 2 sketch. You don't have to justify it with an anniversary that doesn't even match up.
But yeah, like I liked the sketch okay, but yeah, I think I feel what you're feeling, John. Like I don't know, maybe the pacing was a little bit off here or there, but like I do like the idea of it. And I do like the dark turn of it, but yeah, I think maybe it's something that maybe needed a little more work for it to totally work. But like I dug it. I thought it was okay.
I think I'm just biased about it because I was just so excited for Melissa because too often she doesn't get enough screen time. So whenever I see her in like a leading sketch like that, I don't even care if it's bad or good. I automatically am just excited about it.
Yeah, it is fun to see somebody you feel is underrated get a nice shot on the show, like her Dolly Parton thing on Update.
Oh my gosh, yes.
So good.
Yeah.
That thing is that is eerily accurate, that Dolly Parton impression.
Oh yeah. Dead on.
And that's another thing she did on her podcast too, was she was talking all about Dolly Parton and doing impressions and stuff. And I mean, Melissa's a very good impressionist. That's where she came from on, what was it, America's Got Talent. So yeah.
All right, you sold me. I'm listening to the podcast and subscribe.
Good.
What's it called?
I'm gonna message her and be like, I just got you some new fans, so you need to give me some of those royalties.
No, it's called Laughing with Myself, and it's
Laughing with Myself. Okay.
It's snowing.
We'll check that out. I have not heard of that. I just looked outside
and I. Anyways, yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I just got very upset.
Oh wow, everything all right? What happened?
She looked out the window and it's snowing.
Oh,
sorry about that.
It's okay. Sorry.
Oh,
you're about to be snowed in again.
Okay. All right. Well, let's press on so you can go out there and lay out that rock salt. All right. Next up, Dua Lipa. She 2 performances this night. Her first performance called "Don't Start Now," and her second one, "Levitating." Thoughts on Dua Lipa, everyone?
I mean, I like her on the radio. That's all I know about her, honestly. No, I mean, I don't mean that in a mean way. Literally, all I know about her is from what I hear on the radio, and that she was supposed to host be the musical guest for the John Krasinski show. So it was really nice that they brought her back.
Yeah, that seems to be a thing that they're making a point of doing this season. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see like John Krasinski pop up.
I have been waiting. I'm like, where is he?
Yeah, maybe it's just a scheduling thing. Maybe it's a travel thing. Who knows?
Yeah,
I think he'd be really good.
Yeah. I'd like to see what he would do. I don't have too much to say about the Dua Lipa. Not really my type of music. So, it was fine, I guess.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Well, no, I was going to say, yeah, I'm kind of the same way where like I didn't know much about her. I didn't know she was like a thing. Apparently, like when she made that appearance in the USO sketch earlier, like I heard the audience like kind of scream like, "Oh my God, it's her!" So I was like, "Oh, I guess she's like a big deal right now." So,
yeah, she's pop music, so she has a lot of fans.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, her songs were good. I think it's just like dance pop. It was like, all right, this is fine. One thing I kind of noticed that I'm surprised SNL didn't go for this is that like they could have had like make a Wonder Woman 1984 sketch because Dua Lipa looks a lot like Gal Gadot.
She does. That is a very good observation. Now I'm going to be sad I didn't see it.
I was like, why don't they just make Dua Lipa Wonder Woman and Kristen Wiig's there? She could be Cheetah and just make a sketch about that.
Wow, that's a great observation. Maybe she didn't feel comfortable.
I feel like missed opportunity.
That isn't that. Wow. Yeah, she does look just like her. Now that I'm thinking about it.
Wow. Kristen hosts.
Right. So, Jill, Amanda, what are your thoughts on Dua Lipa?
I thought it was great. I remember thinking that stage is actually really quite small because there was a large group of dancers there, and I was like, it is really kind of cramped. But no, I thought it was great. And I like, as you mentioned, there were clearly some Dua stans in that audience because I felt like we could hear it through the whole show, even when she wasn't on.
There was no way it was like people who just happened to win tickets. It had to be like people that she brought with her, maybe that got a set of tickets, because there is just no,
so they were
1 in
random.
a million chance that they happen to be,
So it was like a BTS or One Direction situation all over again?
No, there's nothing like that in the world. No.
No, I thought she was great, though. She was great.
All right.
All right. So next we have a Weekend Update with Colin Jost and Michael Che.
And, this was a long Weekend Update, too. This
Kind of was. They had a lot to pack in. As they said at the top, it was the last Weekend Update they're going to do with Donald Trump still in office. So I guess the show's not coming back until sometime after January 20th. So
of course, it started out with showing a little montage of Trump's greatest moments to Semisonic Closing Time.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, to show him the Easter Bunny thing, him throwing paper towels in Puerto Rico. It was a weird tone to set for the whole thing. I don't know. It's kind of, I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
I thought it was funny. I mean, I think I'm just so easy to please, I think, because I find humor in like everything, but I don't know. I hadn't thought about the fact that it was the last one before the inauguration, and that excites me very much because I think everybody is tired of talking about and listening to things about Donald Trump.
Yeah. I mean, he just kind of sucks up all the oxygen, and we haven't been able to breathe for quite some time.
There's no way that whenever the show does return that they're not going to have some Donald Trump jokes still.
Well, I'm sure, but like I'm hoping that this is the beginning of phasing that out.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, we've still got like another month before the inauguration, so who knows what's more insane stuff. Yeah. And also, like, the show has said goodbye to him, it seems like at least half a dozen times, because there were times in his presidency where they didn't know what was going to happen, if he was going to get impeached or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So they did sort of some Trump goodbye sketches before. So it feels like, we've done this before. So
yeah, absolutely. So, had some Che jokes, some Jost jokes, and our first Weekend Update correspondent, we got Chris Redd as Smokey Robinson.
Yes, I was happy to see Chris back again.
Yeah, Chris is back in the building, y'all. Hey, and apparently this was the thing where Smokey Robinson is on Cameo, and he pronounced, like, somebody paid him for like a cameo message, and he pronounced Hanukkah Chanukah.
Yeah, Amanda actually saw it. Yeah, she knows the whole bit of it, I guess.
Well, it was like the whole thing was someone bought a cameo and it was for like their parent or whatever, and the story was that this parent grew up on the same street and like with Smokey Robinson, and I guess they like knew each other as kids or something, but he's just completely clueless through the whole thing. He's like, because when he was talking, he was like, oh yeah, so I guess we grew up together. That's great. And your son, like, your son wants me to wish you a happy Chanukah. I don't know what that is, but I hope you have a great Chanukah. And I was like, that is so, like, it's so pure. Like, there's no way it could be faked. It was so funny.
Okay, so that's interesting because I had no context for this whatsoever. I was like, why is he doing Smokey Robinson? Why is it just seems so random to me?
Yeah,
so
all these
I didn't know about any of that.
All these old Motown singers are kind of blowing up on all these apps lately, like Dionne Warwick. Now this,
they got to get that money.
I guess so. I mean, Chubby Checker, get on Twitter. Apparently, they'll be able to.
I thought Chris was great. Like, he did a really great impression. I felt a little like taken out of it, I guess, because it didn't seem like there was any makeup done. So I was just like,
just Chris in a wig.
Yeah, I was like, what is happening with that part of this?
Yeah, that's the thing. I guess I didn't do enough to make him look like Smokey Robinson.
Yeah,
like you say, that was like. But I just kind of went along with it. I mean, I thought it was okay. I mean, I'm a big fan of Chris Redd. I like everything he does. But yeah, I guess the whole thing around this part is it's just him not knowing about that Jewish people were a thing. Him learning about it now. He even asked Michael Che, "Oh, you know about Jewish people?" And Che's like, "Yeah, of course. I work in show business."
You know about Jewish people.
And it was basically him just mispronouncing Jewish words and all other words. Like he says Google like Google or something like that in Wikipedia, and not knowing how to pronounce menorah and dreidel. I mean, it was kind of like a one note type of gag, but it was short enough and good enough for me to think it was all right.
All right. So next we had Keenan coming on as Shay's neighbor Willie, who's the most optimistic guy he knows. He's talking about the COVID-19 vaccine, and he's just, he's very upbeat about it.
Yeah, I mean, Willie, I think the last time Willie was on I looked it up. Last time he was on was like about 2 years ago in February 2018. So it's good to see him bring back the character.
It was nice to have Chris and Keenan on update since they've been away for a little while. So
that's true too. Yeah, I mean, I was always kind of, I guess, hot and cold on Willie, but for some reason, this one I really liked. I think that he has some really good jokes in this one. Like, what was it? Like, he was talking about how, people are scared to take the vaccine, and he said it reminded him of his granddaddy, who also took a miracle vaccine that would help make the entire town safe again. And Chad's like, "Oh, what was it? It's a lethal injection."
That was a really good joke. That one got me. I'm not gonna lie.
There's a lot of good dark stuff. Like even Che said, like, "Aren't you afraid of the side effects?" And Willie was like, "Oh, come on, Michael. We all have birth defects." I was like, "What? No, I'm side effects." There was a lot of dark stuff in here, but like the way Keenan sells it and just says it in like an upbeat, cheery way, I don't know. It got me smiling. I got a kick out of Willie, my neighbor Willie.
Okay, let's see. Next, we had a third guest segment on Update. We had Heidi coming back as Instagram influencer Landis Trotter, and here the gag was that she's been kind of co-opted by all her ads, and all of her gift recommendations are sponsored ads for weird, inappropriate things like Merrill Lynch and Dune the movie for Mom.
Yeah,
I thought, this was actually a brand new character.
I think
because she.
I felt like she'd done this before.
No, what you're thinking of, she does, which is why I was going to go into this. I thought that was very odd that she brought this character on because she has another Instagram influencer character.
That's what Mikey. I was thinking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
the
I
one
thought it
with
was
Mikey Day, right?
Yes, exactly. So I thought it was very odd that she's doing just another Instagram influencer character, but with a different name. I was like, why not just bring out Mikey and do the other one?
Yeah, I mean, I heard Instagram influencer and I saw Heidi, so I was just like, oh, this is the same character, and I didn't bother to double check.
It basically is, just without Mikey.
Ooh, okay.
No, I don't mean that in a bad way. I'm saying that I just thought it was interesting that she kind of. I guess sometimes I find it interesting what gets pitched for Weekend Update and what ends up getting chosen, because you would think that if she pitched that, they would be like, well, we kind of already have that. Let's, forego it. But
yeah.
I mean, no tea, no shade, but I think that Heidi needs to stop doing this character, like in its different iterations. I think her talent is so much better than kind of having like derivative care of her own characters, if that makes sense. I really like her in sketches and the evolution we're seeing from her, so I want her to keep growing in that way.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I don't know if any one person needs more than one Instagram influencer.
Right.
Yeah. But there's so many different Instagram influencers. Man.
They're also different.
I'm very surprised, and I'm kind of. I wish that they would do, because SNL's been getting quite popular with TikTok, so I'm very surprised they haven't done kind of like a Weekend Update segment with like a TikToker, because I feel like that would really hit with a lot of fans. Especially because SNL's been on TikTok. They've been talking to people on TikTok. They put TikTok stories on their Instagram. So I wish Heidi had kind of, if she was going to do this kind of character again, I wish it wasn't Instagram. Like it could have been like Twitter or TikTok or something else, I
feel like wasn't there like a TikTok sketch like in one of the SNL at homes? I feel like they maybe
it was. Are you thinking of like the filter sketch?
Yeah, that might be it.
That's like Snapchat, where they put like the different filters on them. TikTok is more like
Darren, they're also different.
Yeah.
I'm an old man. I don't know.
You're not on TikTok?
Jill and Amanda explaining all different things.
I mean,
Now, how does Twitter work?
do you know what Vine is? Do you remember?
Yes.
Okay, Vine is basically the exact same thing as TikTok, except they call it TikTok now.
Right.
So that's what that is.
Can one of you guys unlock my phone for me?
Yeah.
I want to send a clap back to Wendy Williams.
Yeah.
All right. If you guys could all just like write a blog spot entry about this, so I can just get this all straight, that would really help me out.
Yeah, we'll do.
Whoever is the SNL intern that is running the social media, they clearly are. I don't know, because I see them on TikTok commenting people all the time and stuff, and I'm like, okay, SNL.
I see you.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right, so back to this character. I mean, I always love Heidi and everything she does. I got a kick out of this. She had this one line where she recommends for Christmas you get your boss a Hitachi healthcare X-ray imaging.
Yes.
Because no one should have to wonder what their bones look like.
Yeah.
I dug that line. I dug it. But yeah, I mean, I'm a Heidi apologist, so I got a kick out of this character. I dug it.
Apologist?
Not apologist. What's the word when you really like something no matter
You're a
what?
stan. You're a stan.
Yeah,
You're a
Heidi
Heidi
stan.
stan.
You're a Heidi stan.
I'm a Heidi. I'm part of the Heidi Hive. Yes.
The Heidi Hive. I like that.
Heidi Hive. You youngsters won't get that. Anywho.
I know what that is.
We're hip with our Cab Calloway references.
Ask your parents. They'll
Oh God, I feel 200 years old.
So weekend update. It ends with the annual joke swap, as always. My favorite time of the year.
Yes.
Yeah, this had some good ones in it. This was.
Yeah, I mean, they do this every Christmas and usually on the last show of the season as well, where Colin and Michael write jokes for each other, and they just try to get each other. Now, you guys have gone to a lot of dress rehearsals. Mm-hmm. Have you seen these jokes?
We always get. I knew you were going to ask us this, because this is one of the questions we get the most about this.
Right. Do you see the jokes change at all between Dress and Air?
They do change
very little.
A little. So what is it? They typically have like 3 jokes or something?
Yeah, when they say, this is the first time we're hearing these, Amanda and I kind of sit at home and giggle to ourselves because it's not. They tell the same exact ones in dress. I mean, I would give it a 90% similarity.
Here is what I have noticed is that if there are 3 jokes, or like each of them have 2 jokes swapped or something like that, there's always one in live that was not in dress. So I think that they, for whatever reason, can't do all of them live, but at least one of them is typically the first time we hear it.
But I mean, normally it's like a 90% similarity. So
yeah,
and honestly, I think they probably even they do an entire show before the dress rehearsal too. So who knows if they do them then?
Right?
Yeah. I mean, I'd be very surprised if they didn't. If they weren't familiar with these jokes before here.
Yeah, because I was thinking, even with the Scarlett Johansson joke, I think Che must have had to clear that joke with jokes before he said it, right?
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah. I mean, but I think they do a nice job of selling it, so it does seem like it's the first time they're reading the jokes. But they did have some really strong jokes. I mean, I thought Colin got in a really good one with Michael, where he had Michael Che talking about Jeffrey Epstein's mansion getting demolished. And he says, it's a site of so many fond memories for me. Power King. And he apparently, I just rewatched this before we started recording. He was supposed to say, "Rest in Power King, I'll take it from here." But he stumbled over that bit a little.
That is so funny.
Wow, I didn't know that.
No, I didn't catch that at all.
Rewatch it. He tries to say, "I'll take it from here," but it's kind of lost into the laughter, and he kind of half says it. But
Weekend Update is always longer in dress. I mean, normally, this time they had 3 people who made it on for segments, but normally they always have 3, and just one of them gets cut.
Right,
and a lot of jokes will get cut and stuff. So it's hard to remember, though. That's the one thing we can never really kind of talk about, because they tell so many and it's so hard to remember.
Oh, sure. Yeah. It's such a rapid fire thing. Yeah. But I mean, the the joke about Scarlett Johansson playing Sammy Davis Jr., that was chef's kiss. That was perfect.
There you go. Yeah.
I enjoyed it very much. I'm not going to lie to you. I
think they're always funny. I just think they're a funny team.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so much fun to see them try to get each other, and they're also both such good sports for reading that stuff.
Yeah, something that I really like about the two of them, which I think we've talked about before.
Are you going to talk about what they do before?
Yeah. Is they're genuinely like bros, and you can tell every show before they go on, when they're like off, to the side before they come to the desk, they flip each other off from across the stage.
Almost like a ritual thing, like right as they're saying, and your weekend update, or in your co-host or whatever, they give each other the finger.
And then they run onto the desk. It's just so fun to watch them play together.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. I didn't know that. So they're like, they approach the desk from either side, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Yeah, you can, what are they called? The background pieces, the wooden pieces, they stand right behind that right before they walk on, and that's where you can see them across the way. So they do that. They do that before every show, and it's always fun to watch them do it.
Oh, that's cool. That's so sweet. That's a neat ritual. I like that.
Yeah, it really shows how much they love each other. They flip each other off.
They say I love you through flipping the bird.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, Darren, that's what you and I do before every show.
Yeah, absolutely.
You just can't see it, but I do it.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have a video component on this, but it's enough to know that he's doing it.
I know. I can feel it in the.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm up the ante. I actually do it throughout the show now. For like,
wow,
my middle finger is getting very tired after an hour and a half.
That's love. That's real commitment. And
that's love.
That's funny. That's a funny joke.
I appreciate it.
So next we had The Grinch, which was
oof.
This was Amanda's favorite sketch for some reason.
I was so genuinely tickled by this, and I cannot give a reason other than Pete Davidson in these weird costumes this season is the funniest thing to me. And I guess it's because he's so like, I mean, he's goofy anyway, but like to see him be given the chance to play this, or like the Count Chocula character, or like whatever, it's just so funny and bizarre, and he's so tall and just like this huge presence, and it makes me laugh
and him trying not to laugh during the entire thing is
oof. Yeah. So basically, the premise of this sketch is it's a sketch that starts the morning after the end of How the Grinch Stole Christmas Story, where the Grinch came down to Whoville and celebrated Christmas with the family. It's the next morning. The kids are around the tree. The little Whoville kids are around the tree opening presents. Mom and Dad come down, and then the Grinch comes down the stairs right behind them, wearing a robe and tighty whities, because
Why is he in tighty whities?
For me, it was for me.
Okay. I'm glad it made you happy.
I watched it and I was like, that was so weird and awkward, and I thought Amanda was going to agree, and she goes, "Oh no, I loved it."
I was like, I'm going to be honest, my favorite sketch so far.
Wow, really?
I
disagree. I disagree. Yeah.
Yeah,
it was very awkward.
I think, for me, I guess the turn, like really early, I was like, oh, the Grinch had a threesome with parents, and I just
then they ran with it.
I like the idea of it. I mean, I am for like the Grinch having three ways with the parents. I mean, I think my record bears this out. But it just didn't work for me for whatever reason. I kept mentally comparing it to the I Saw Mommy Kissing Santa Claus sketch that they did a year ago with Scarlett Johansson and Cecily Strong, where like Santa had a three-way with the parents, and it also kind of reminded me of another Dr. Seuss sketch they did with Bill Hader playing the Cat in the Hat.
Mm.
And the Cat in the Hat's actually the parent of the two kids.
Yep.
And I started rewatching that one before we taped, and that one's so much funnier.
Yeah, like this sketch is kind of. I mean, once you get the reveal of they had a threesome, they don't really go anywhere with it. It just kind of hits that same note over and over. But I mean, the visual is funny.
It climaxes and then it just
Wow, that term.
Wow.
Choice of words. Okay.
It peaks, and then it
Plateaus.
Yeah, it just doesn't go anywhere.
I think honestly, maybe it was just the straight visual that kept me so amused the whole time, because I mean, I can't pinpoint anything that was actually that funny in the sketch, but I was so amused by it, and I think it's honestly just how funny like Pete looked, and just the whole thing just tickled me so bad.
I do want to say I'm very happy for Pete lately. Like I feel like he's gotten himself in such a good place in his life, and like you can tell that he's feeling better as a person, and like I love seeing him in all these sketches this season, because we went through a stint where we barely saw him on the show, and it's just really good to see him like being in a better place in life, and like being in the sketches, and like actually getting to do something than being Pete Davidson in the sketch, you know?
Yeah. It is always nice to see him assume a character.
Right. I mean, like, for the longest time, like, I've kind of thought, like, especially when Pete first came on, I thought he just wasn't that great in sketches, just because he's a comedian, didn't have a lot of sketch comedy training or anything like that. Mm-hmm. But like, as the years gone on, like I've seen him get really good and a lot better. Like I always thought he was at his best when he was doing his weekend update segments, just sitting down talking. That's his strength. But then, in the past few episodes, especially with like the rap roundtable from last week, I really liked that one.
Oh my gosh, that blew up! Yeah,
the skirt, and of course, the stew sketch from the Jason Bateman episode. Like
that was so
I've
good.
noticed he's been getting
his Chad sketches are always so funny.
Yeah, he's definitely been getting better and like stronger and maybe more. I don't know if he's just more confident as a performer or what.
I think his life kind of turned around in terms of, mental health wise and stuff. And that's why, what I meant when I, that you can see his turnaround, that he's just in a much better place, it seems.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So I'm happy for him.
Punish me, my Green King.
Yeah, that was a good line.
Wreck me, daddy.
I may be the abstaining vote, but I say skip this one. Go watch the Cat in the Hat sketch or the I Saw Mommy Kissing Santa Claus instead, because those were both much better.
I do have to agree about the Cecily sketch. So,
yeah. All right. So, final sketch of the night. We get Kristen Wiig playing another of her old characters. We get Aunt Sue. Yeah.
Aunt Sue. This was a sketch called Home for Christmas with Lauren Holt as like the daughter surprising her family for Christmas, and Aunt Sue, she finds out about a surprise and she's just so excited she can't hold it in, and that's what she does. I was never really fond of this character, so I was just like, oh really, we're bringing this back?
Oh man, I love Sue.
Kristen Wiig could be a little hit and miss with me. I feel like, especially towards the end of her tenure, she came to dominate the show too much, so I got kind of tired of her. And this was one of the characters I was never terribly fond of.
I guess I get so excited, like, because I'm not somebody who has always been watching for a long, long time. I kind of started in like the 2000s and stuff. So like, going to the show now, and when I see Kristen come back and do a character like that, it feels really special. And I was sad I didn't get to see that, because I like all of Kristen's characters, so I thought it was, to be fair, it was exactly preferred the same as always, but
I would have preferred Target Lady.
Yeah.
Frankly.
Yeah. And I saw somebody say that they were missing, and I agree, they completely missed a huge opportunity to have Kristen as Target Lady during a pandemic when, they completely missed the opportunity to do that.
Yeah, that would have been a neat slant to take on an old character. Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, basically in the sketch, it follows the same formula as the other Aunt Sue sketches, where she can't hold in her excitement for the surprise that's about to happen. I think Alec Moffat plays the dad who comes home and she can't keep her excitement, and she's like stuffing, elves on the shelves in her mouth to hold in her excitement, and then it kind of just ends with her putting stockings on her hand and running through a wall. I thought this one was okay. Like, I'm kind of in the same boat as Trumbull, where like the Sue character never really, I never really kind of latched onto it, but I can sort of see the appeal to it. But I thought the sketch was all right. But I mean, it seemed you guys really loved it though.
Well, I mean, I liked it. I think I more so liked seeing a what's the word, like popular Kristen character, not necessarily like the sketch itself. I think I just liked that it was like when Rachel Dratch came back and did Debbie Downer, that kind of thing. Like the sketch itself was, you know, exactly the same as when they used to do it in the 2000, which again, I wish they had brought back a Kristen character and kind of related it to where we are now in the world.
Yeah, I mean, I like it if you're going to bring back old characters, I'd like you to, you know, do something newish with the character.
Update them a little bit.
You can still follow the formula, but it's nice to have a new twist. Like when Eddie Murphy came back
and did Mr. Robinson.
Or when he did Mr. Robinson, they had a new twist there, or where they had Buckwheat on The Masked Singer.
Right.
I was like, okay, well, that's a new thing to do with this old character, and that's cool. So I'd like to see them do a little more of that.
They missed their opportunity. They should hire me as a writer. No, that wasn't my joke. That wasn't my joke. I saw it on Twitter.
Get that packet ready.
Yeah.
All right. And and that's the episode, guys. We close out the show, close out the year. I was a little kind of bummed that we didn't see them close the show out in the ice skating rink in Rockefeller Center, like we do every Christmas.
That's a nice tradition.
They didn't do it. They didn't do it last Christmas either.
Oh, they didn't?
No, because we were at the live show.
Do it every year. I think like when they did it with Jimmy Fallon, and I think that was like the first time they'd done it in a long, long time.
Because we were at last year's live show for the Christmas show, and they didn't do it.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. I thought for some reason they did it last year, but
maybe they gave up on it.
Did
you guys? I was going to ask you. Did you see? Now I saw some people say it was from last week, but from my understanding, they just uploaded it just today. The Comfort Time sketch.
The middle-aged mutant ninja turtle.
Yeah.
I just watched that. I just discovered that on the YouTube feed, and I watched that before we started recording. Loved it. Wished it had been in the show. I think I would have taken that over at least 3 of the things that they actually put on the show.
I just thought it was really cool that they did that again, because it was such like a geared toward SNL at home thing, but it was so cool and so different from what we normally see on SNL that I'm happy they brought it back, because it was really cool and really different from what we normally get.
Yeah, I think it was a great gag. I think it was really funny. I think they had enough stuff in there to warrant a return trip to that.
I would like to see them do it in person in the costumes. I think that would be funny.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that would be impressive if they could figure out a way to pull that off. I don't know. I think a lot of the humor comes from the animation. I think
it does.
The animation's really impressive. The characters are like on model for the 80s show. Like I've got a background as a cartoonist, so that stuff is important to me. And I think maybe it was just axed and put up. I think they could have easily held this and put it on a later show, but it had the Trump references, so it was a little more topical than it needed to be.
Yeah,
so
they didn't even seem to promote it, or they just haven't yet. But it seemed like they uploaded it to YouTube, and if you saw it, you saw it, and if you didn't know about it, then you know.
Yeah, but definitely make a point of looking that up if you haven't seen it. Middle-aged Mutant Ninja Turtles, episode 2.
Right,
very funny stuff.
I'm with Trumble. I really enjoyed it. I really got.
Darren, call me John. You can call me John.
Okay, thank you, John.
I think we can be on a first name basis now.
Wow, it's like you're Taylor Swift. But yeah. But yeah, I really liked it. Like, I mean, the second part where they're kind of talking about Trump, and they kind of reveal that Raphael was a Trump supporter.
And at the end, where they're like 2 out of 4 of them are a little bit racist.
and like one of them's diabetic but doesn't know it yet.
I hope because they called it episode 2 that we're going to see more.
I hope so. It also speaks to me because, like, you know, like I'm middle-aged now, so it's like this speaks to me as a person. Oh yeah, I so get this. I get dreams have been crushed. I relate to this.
It is a really creative idea. Whoever came up with the concept of it.
Yeah, did Streeter Seidel have something to do with writing this?
I feel like
it has the feel of one of his things.
Oh yeah, did you guys notice him as Santa Claus in the episode?
Oh yeah, he posted about that on Twitter. He was like, you know, this is why it pays to be like the most heavy set.
I have a thing for faces. So right when he came on, I was like, oh, that's Streeter Seidel. And
she clocked it so fast.
Nobody talked about it, and I was like, was I wrong? And then he posted the picture, and I was like, oh, okay.
I didn't know that till just now. Wow, that
Yeah.
went right by me.
Yeah, he posted something on Twitter or Instagram. I forget which.
Which
but he
sketch was
like,
that?
It's a monologue.
Oh.
Okay.
Where he was Santa.
Yeah,
Okay,
they like cut away to Santa briefly during the monologue, didn't they?
Yeah, because like after they said that after Kate said what she said, and then Maya was like, "Oh, that sounds a little bit racist. Like, how can you say that in front of Santa? He's Lauren's guest."
Oh
And-
yeah. Oh yeah. Okay.
That was it.
I think if not to play any kind of age card here, but I do think if Streeter was a little bit younger in the place where he is now, that he might audition to be a cast member as kind of like what happened as like a Bowen thing where he was a strong writer and then we slowly started seeing him cameo and then he became a cast member. But, I think, where Streeter is, he's a dad and stuff. I don't think it's something he would do now. But I do think if he was a bit younger and, maybe didn't have kids and he was doing what he is now, I do think he might audition to be a cast member.
Well, I mean, it's certainly possible that could happen if he wanted that.
It is, yeah.
Happen. I mean, Mikey Day's a dad.
Right.
We saw his kid when they were doing the SNL at Home opening.
Streeter's pretty. He's pretty like he's pretty stone cold though. Like we've met him a couple times, and he's very like what's the word? He's very like he's like a teddy bear, almost like you can tell he's a really sweet guy, but he's got that very like hard exterior.
This is Streeter or Mikey?
Streeter.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah, he's so often I really like a sketch and then I find out who writes it and then so many times it's Streeter had a hand in it.
Yeah.
I think he's really talented and he's probably my favorite person writing for the show right now.
I have a particular fondness of James Anderson, but
which sketches has James Anderson done?
All the drag queen ones.
All the drag queen ones, all the Cecily Strong ones, all the any kind of culture, like flamboyant sketches, you kind of see like he's very much kind of like
present
and behind those. And I just think those are, again, I love the over the top stuff. So I think those are always really funny, but I really, really do like Streeter as well. I think he writes a lot of gold mine stuff.
Yeah. I wish, when they posted the sketches on YouTube, that they credited the writers.
Oh my God, same.
Especially because so many people I see every week trying to figure out who wrote what, and they're like, "Hey, does anybody know this?" And it would be nice to see them get more credit because,
I mean,
you either have to go on Reddit or something, or wait till somebody posts on social media oh, this was so great to do. It was great to do it with such and so and such and so.
That's such an odd concept too, to feel like you wrote this sketch that is going to be all over everywhere and your name's kind of not attached to it.
Yeah. I don't know why they do that, but I wish they would change that policy.
Absolutely. All right, so then that's our episode. So, guys, overall thoughts on this final episode of 2020 with Kristen Wiig, Dua Lipa? Do we like it? Do we not like it? What do we think?
I liked it. I mean, I have such a affinity and kind of fondness for last year's Christmas show, but I do think this was really good. I guess it was a little under my expectations, kind of, especially with Kristen being on. I guess I had a couple more higher expectations for it, but I can't, I would give it a B. I can't discredit it. I thought it was good, but
yeah, I thought it was decent.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm kind of the same way with you guys. I thought it'd be a little, maybe I had higher expectations or whatnot, but I thought it was good, but I thought it'd be a little bit better. So yeah, a B's about right. I actually think the last week's episode with Timothy Chalamet, I thought that was better than this one.
Yeah, I did too.
I mean,
I think that was a stronger show. This was a mixed bag for me. I'd probably give the show a C+ overall, or maybe a B-. I liked Christmas Morning and A Teacher a lot. I think the rest I was kind of mixed on.
Right.
So
yeah. I think last week it had it had Dionne Warwick, it had the Lexus commercial, and the Rap Roundtable. Those are three strong sketches.
Yeah.
This one,
and Springsteen as a musical guest, I thought he just blew the roof off the joint. So.
Yeah, absolutely. But
if they put Middle-Aged Mutant Ninja Turtles into this episode, I would be more favorably inclined towards it. I would totally have that replace the USO performance, Grinch, or Home for Christmas.
I'm with that, and and then this episode, still no 80 and no Cecily, which was Bit of a drag.
That
We-
was
I don't know what happened.
We
to her.
noticed.
We noticed. Yes,
Yeah.
we noticed.
I wrote a note to myself. I was like, was Cicely not in this one? Because she was back last week, and I was like,
Mhm.
oh, great, she's back on the show, so she'll be back here for the rest of the season.
Yeah, it was.
And-
Yeah,
She just
Yeah.
recently celebrated like her best friend's birthday, so I kind of wonder if maybe she was away still celebrating that. We have fire truck parade coming down our street right now. Sorry, if you're
I
gonna
can
have to
hear
hear
it,
this. Yeah. Do you
I
want
was
us to
about
be
to say,
quiet
like,
for a minute?
No, it's fine.
Okay.
I was about to say,
if
like,
you-
somebody getting arrested? What's happening?
No, there's a parade happening. I guess I don't know.
Is
They're
it where
trying-
one of the fire fighters dresses up as Santa?
I have no idea.
'Cause they do that in my neighborhood. They have
Yeah.
like every year they have a fire truck come around with Santa on it.
that's
Normally,
cute.
when this happens on our podcast, I'm just like, you know what, guys? There's fire trucks coming right now, so you're gonna hear it instead of trying to hide it.
It's fine. Roll with it.
I will say, speaking of Miss Strong,
Mhm.
when Michael Che's neighbor came on, there was a disappointment that fell upon us here that it was not his neighbor, Kathy Ann.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah.
missed
Okay.
Catherine.
Yes, I like that character.
Yeah. So I'm hoping that when the show comes back, maybe 80 will be done filming Shrills, and maybe she'll be back. So that would be nice.
And what project is Cicely filming? I keep forgetting.
Well,
I
she
know
just
she's
finished. She was in Vancouver, and she was doing Schmigadoon, which is the Lorne Michaels like musical comedy show that she was slated
Schmigadoon.
to. She's the star of it, and it was
Right.
slated to film in the summer, but obviously got pushed back. So she was in Vancouver since what was it, like September or whatever, filming it, and she just came back to New York. So I'm not sure where she was this past episode, but that's where she was filming Schmigadoon, which is going to be on Apple TV, right?
Okay, I love that title. First of all,
Yes,
I mean,
so
I'm
good.
looking forward
It's a
to it,
Lorne.
too.
It's a Lorne show, and it's a musical comedy, so I think it's going to be good. And like Alan Cummings is in it, and
Jane Krakow.
Oh, wow.
yeah, I think it's going to be good.
Okay, well, I'm really looking forward to that now because I
Me
do
too.
like musical comedies. I was a huge fan of Crazy Ex-Girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
I watched the Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist, which I enjoy, but I still sort of think of it as like less good Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. But but yeah, I mean that sounds like right up Cecily's alley. I wonder if she had to like go back and do like some pickups or some reshoots or something.
I don't know.
She
if
may have.
I don't know if she would go all the way back to Vancouver, but I guess it's possible.
Yeah, I mean, or who knows? Yeah, maybe she was doing something more local. But anyway, missed having her on.
I hope to see both of them come back regularly when we return in 2021 because I do miss them.
Absolutely. And yeah, guys, that's our episode. I mean, Jill, Amanda, thank you so much for being on our podcast. Wow, you guys were fantastic.
Well,
yeah.
thank you.
You guys are you're fun to talk to. You're funny. You're funny
Aw.
guys.
Yeah. Thanks very much. And where can people find your podcast? Because we want to promote. We want to build the SNL podcast
Oh,
community.
this is Amanda's bit. She has memorized because I make her say it every
She does.
episode we do.
Yeah, you can find us pretty much everywhere at Standby Line. That's like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. And then our website is snlstandbyline.com. So it's got all of our episodes. And then, of course, we're on, Apple Podcasts, all that stuff.
Spotify.
Nice. And I'm sure you want people to rate and review you and all that. And
Of course. If you've got it in your heart, please do. It helps.
Yes. And please rate and review us. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram at SNL Nerds Show. And you can follow our individual Twitter and Instagrams as well. I'm at Trumbull Comic. And Darren?
I'm at Darren Credible, DARIN Credible, Twitter and Instagram.
Yes. And, I should have spelled Trumbull Comic. I usually do that. That's TRUMBULL and the word comic. And, please rate and review us as well. And if you enjoyed the podcast, tell a friend.
Yes, spread the word. It'll be like your Christmas gift to us.
Yes. That's right. We don't want a robe.
Yeah.
No.
Well, actually, we do want a robe. I could use a nice robe. If you want to get me a robe, that'll be good too.
I'll take robe and international fame, please.
And I hope
Yes.
everyone had a good Chinooka.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes. Happy Chinooka to everyone.
Exactly. I want the piano from Big. And
Yeah.
so, John, should we talk? Now I can call you John. Should we talk about what we're going to do next week, our next episode?
First off, reconsider the first name thing. Please just go back to calling me Mr. Trumbull.
That's best. That's best.
Yeah. Yeah, next week we decided, because what we usually do on the off weeks of SNL, we watch a movie starring some SNL alum or another, and we decided, you know what? There's a notable SNL alum who's in a big movie that is about to open, and if we stretch the definition of an SNL movie to the absolute breaking point, we could watch Wonder Woman 84.
That's right. So we're doing it. We're watching Wonder Woman 84 and give you our thoughts on it. This will be like the first superhero movie we've seen like all year, pretty much, because like we got no Marvel movies. I mean, yeah, there was the New Mutants, but I don't want to.
That doesn't count.
No.
I mean, but this is a thing that Darren and I we do periodically. We get together, we watch the Marvel movies, and we watch that, and do we watch Justice League together? Or did we decide to skip that one?
No, we did. I remember we did.
We did. Okay.
And, yeah, that was the less said about that, the better.
Well, yeah, the DC movies, they're a bit mixed. But yeah, we're looking forward to this because we enjoyed the first Wonder Woman movie, so it'll be neat to see. And Kristen Wiig's playing the cheetah.
How about that? Hey,
yeah,
who knew?
So we'll see how that goes. It's coming to theaters and to HBO Max. So if you want to check it out, and then come visit us next Monday and see what we thought of it.
Absolutely. And yeah, that's the episode, guys. So John, you got anything? Mr. Trumbull, I apologize. So do you have any closing thoughts or no?
No, I have nothing profound to say. But we'll see you next week. We'll close out. That'll be our last show of 2020, right?
That's right. We've come to the end of the road, and I can't let go.
Yeah,
it's so.
No. So so we'll see you next week with Wonder Woman 84, and until then, nerds out.
Nerds out.
We always forget to tell people about that.
This has been a non-productive media presentation. Executive producer Frank Hablawi. This program and many others like it on the Non-Productive Network is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial No Derivatives license. Please share it, but ask before trying to change it or sell it. For more information, visit non-productive.com.